30?
Yeah.
Okay.
Steve, Bob said he got a chance to speak to Clay this morning. Have you spoken to him? And obviously, without going into specific, how was the conversation that you had?
I have not spoken with Clay yet, texted, but hope to speak with him this evening sometime. Clay is elusive.
Steve, considering the story you told us last night about wanting 2 minutes of rest and a torn ACL in this whole thing,
I know.
what does that say just about Clay's resolve and desire to obviously play?
One of the great competitors I've ever been around, not just from a willingness to compete and fight, but a level of play that he reached during this postseason. When you combine all that, just his confidence, his competitive fight, his ability to keep cool under pressure, the guy's amazing.
How have you processed the last 14 or so hours? How are you?
Still sort of processing it. More than anything, just I keep thinking about Kevin and Clay and you know, the severity of the injuries. You know, injuries are always a part of the playoffs, and whoever wins generally you know, has a lot of good fortune along the way. We've been in that position, and oftentimes you know, injuries play a role when you lose, but very rarely, if ever, in the finals has there ever been, you know, an Achilles tear from a star player in the finals? I don't remember anything like this. I remember, you know, Kareem spraining his ankle, or, you know, Magic Johnson and Byron Scott pulling hamstrings. I remember stuff like that, but for Kevin to rupture his Achilles and then Clay to tear his ACL in back-to-back finals games, it's, how do you process that ever?
On top of that, I mean, how do you process looking forward and knowing that they're going next year?
Yeah. So it's hard to even picture, you know, what next year's team will look like at this point, and we'll see how it all shakes out. And we're hoping to have both those guys back. And if that's the case, it'd be great. But neither one would be available for quite a while to play. So our team's going to look a lot different next year.
Steve, way back on maybe day one here, you said we've got to cherish this. We all know this doesn't last forever, and
right.
let's have joy. And I'm sure you're feeling some of that even right now, because you just don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know. Yeah, some of what I'm feeling is a sense of pride in our group. I can't tell you how many texts I've had over the last 24 hours from coaches and colleagues around the league saying, you know, this was more impressive than your championship years. You know, that, you know, what these guys have accomplished in this playoff run with all these injuries, through all this adversity, is even more impressive than their winning the titles over the last 4 years. So that's how I feel. Just an incredible accomplishment. Came up just short of being able to force a Game 7. But what hangs over everything is the injuries to Kevin and Clay, and what that means for them individually in their careers, and so it's a strange day.
Steve, what do you make of the term organizational fatigue? I think that's been going around a little bit, just everything that you guys have been through the last 5 years. Do you feel any of that? Do you think that's happened here?
Organizational fatigue?
Yeah, just talk.
I haven't heard that phrase before. I think fatigue in general, however you want to phrase it, but it's not easy going through these seasons. Getting all the way to the finals, it takes so much energy and emotion, and to do it back to back to back to back to back. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Were those five?
Yeah.
Maybe that's just an incredible accomplishment. But yeah, it takes an awful lot out of you. So I think everybody's fried right now. But that's what the summer's for, and we'll recharge the batteries and be ready to go in late September.
With all the questions hanging over the team, is there any part of you that wonders if this could be the end of the dynasty?
No, I don't look at it or think about it in those terms. I really don't. You know, Steph's going to be back next year, and Draymond's going to be back, and you know, we're going to have a bunch of the players from here, and we can still be really good. And you know, assuming we get some breaks health-wise. Clay, KD, that they recover, we could be really good again. So I don't look at it from that standpoint at all.
Steve, on that Spurs, like they weren't always the favorite, but they had obviously that long run of sustained success and always a chance. How do you see that applying to this organization?
I think the similarity is the internal culture, the internal stability. Having been in San Antonio for all those years, I felt it through Tim Duncan, David Robinson, the core guys who were there, who provided that foundation. And our team is the same way, with the strength of the group, the character of the group. Guys like Steph and Clay and Draymond and Andre, Kevin, all these guys, just because of who they are and because of their commitment to one another, it's gonna survive whatever adversity comes our way, just like it did throughout this whole season with everything that happened. Here we were with a chance to force a Game 7 in the finals without some key guys. So we were right there. So we will continue to survive and thrive.
You talked just kind of trampoline this season into a bigger contract elsewhere. With the torn quad and the playoffs, it's probably more unknown what he's walking into. Are you more optimistic that maybe he could come back?
I think there's a chance. I would say that the hope is that frankly that he can do a lot better financially than what we could offer him. But who knows? Every year is different. There are a lot more teams with cap room this summer than last summer, and this summer is going to be it'll be a wild free agent market, and we have to figure out our own situation, particularly with Clay and Kevin, and how all that shakes out. But I could absolutely foresee a place for DeMarcus here if he wanted to come back. It's just a question of what are his goals, what's out there for him.
Steve, if this is it for Sean Livingston, going back to a devastating injury for this guy who came back and became this player and did some really special things for you guys.
Yeah, Sean has always been kind of one of our quiet leaders, and I think this year he took on a more vocal role, particularly with David and Zaza moving on last year, David West. Sean and Andre became the elder statesmen on the team, and they both took on bigger roles vocally. And I thought Sean was really key for us this year in holding everything together. He's always been sort of under the radar, one of our key human beings. Obviously an excellent player, but rock solid human being, and somebody who understands team dynamics. And so I would love to continue to coach him, and we'll see how it all plays out. But Sean is a special human being, and we've been lucky to have him.
This is a really complicated. How much does it settle you to know that Bob Myers is basically the guy spearheading all of that?
Yes, I have unbelievable confidence in Bob and he's incredible at his job, one of the best in the business. And I think on the outside looking in, everybody looks at a GM and says, well, how is this guy as a GM? Here's who he picked. The term is general manager. It's not general picker. You know, it's general manager. Bob manages people. He manages our coaching staff. He manages the players. So what he means to the group goes way beyond who he picked with the 39th pick in 2013. And yet, you know, most of what's covered media-wise is, you know, every basketball move. Jerry West, probably the best GM of all time, once said, if you bat 500 as a GM, you're doing great. 1 out of every 2 getting right, that's a hell of a record. So nobody's going to get them all right. In fact, most people are going to get them wrong more often than not. But the stability that Bob provides, the humanity, the friendship, the guidance, the counsel, that doesn't grow on trees. That doesn't show up in an analytics book. That doesn't show up in anything other than an exceptionally gifted, compassionate, smart human being. So Bob's value is of the utmost importance to our organization.
You talked about just the injuries and a lot of the different things that have gone on this season. How has the season just been than past seasons? What is the biggest thing that's stuck out?
I mean, every season is different. It really is, depending on circumstances, injuries, you know, your place in the league, what your team is trying to accomplish. To me, I wouldn't even look at it in terms of this year being different. I just look at it as an extension of our 5-year run. Mm-hmm. And then there are new dynamics at play year after year. And so this year was more about managing the fatigue, managing the length of the journey, and trying to help this team get to the finish line, because it takes forever to get there. You know, it's a 9-month haul from the start of camp. So many things happen, and so I'm really proud of the job that our coaching staff did, that our team did, in just keeping things together and continuing to push forward.
Seems like we wanted to take a daily pulse on Katie here.
Mm-hmm.
Now that it is very close, and you know the entire season has played itself out, what's kind of your pulse, your optimism on Kevin coming here?
Well, the injury kind of throws everything for a loop. So I have no idea what Kevin's going to do. I know that we all want him back, and we think this is a great situation for him, and you know, vice versa. So hopefully we get him back and keep this thing going, with the understanding that he's a free agent, and we want what's best for him, and he's free to make any choice he wants. So hopefully he's back, and we will we will all give him any advice, any counsel that he needs, and ultimately he's going to make his own decision. He's earned that.
You have so many talented young coaches. Have you decided on summer league stuff? I know we're only tonight, but do you have...
Aaron Miles is going to
Is he?
coach our
Okay.
summer league team, and then he'll build his staff from within. So yeah, I'm excited for Aaron. He's done a great job in Santa Cruz, and very helpful during the playoffs, and he's a talented young coach, so it'd be a good opportunity for him.
Coach, I don't think anybody has ever taken your success for granted, and yet there are a lot of people who are surprised by what happened this year. How do you manage those expectations with the realities, especially after a year like this?
You don't really worry too much about what everybody else is saying. You just come in here every day and you get the work in that's necessary, and you manage those bumps in the road. You manage the people involved, and you keep pushing forward with the big picture in mind. Coaching in the NBA is a lot about pacing your team, especially with a veteran team. You know, being in the finals 5 straight years, our practices this year were dramatically different than they were, 4 or 5 years ago. You have to adjust and adapt. So, but part of dealing with this job and this NBA season is all the noise and the judgment and the criticism, and we all have it at the fingertips with our phones and all that stuff, and the players feel that, and there's a heavy burden on their shoulders socially from fans and critics alike. So you have to try to help the players navigate all of that.
5 years ago, you were in that very same spot, and I asked you, the question at the time was, what are you going to tell the team about playing in a tournament like this, what to expect? And your answer was that would be really difficult, never anticipated, they would have to learn how to do. It was a very well-measured answer at the time. Did what you encountered this year exceed your worst figures?
Oh, yeah, by far. And if you had asked me 5 days ago, I would have said no, not really, because everything that happened up until 5 days ago was just basketball and people and bumps in the road. But you're talking about 2 career-altering injuries to 2 of your best players in back-to-back finals games. Unheard of. It'll probably never happen again. And so we're in new territory now, and you just have to keep moving forward.
Can you say what you take from this? Is it too soon to tell?
I think perspective, understanding how fleeting this all can be, basketball, life in general. We talk often about how lucky we are to play basketball for a living, to coach basketball for a living, come in here and to get paid to do this, something that we've enjoyed all our lives, but it can be taken away quickly. And, this week has been proof of that.
One more question. Or not.
How do you feel about your future here? I mean, obviously you signed an extension.
My future?
Yeah, how refreshed do you feel like you'll be after this summer?
I'm excited about. I'm excited about the summer.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys all are. But I have no doubt I'll be refreshed and recharged and ready to go. I love this job. I love doing what I do. I love the working with the people that I work with every day. So I'll be ready to go. But yeah, I need a little vacation. And you guys do too. So thanks for everybody. Enjoyed working with all of you this year. Thank you.
Rusty, I got you.